Good morning, hello, and welcome to Easter Eternal at Tabernacle Games, Day 2, Highlander Edition. I'm joined by Dylan on the microphone. How you doing, Dylan?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. Tired, early morning, but daylight savings helps in some regard. Keen to watch
Yeah,
some Highlander.
I am, and that extra hour of sleep has definitely made things a bit better.
Oh yeah, very much so. We've got 32 players here, which is the event capacity, which is pretty exciting stuff. I mean, it's everyone's here to play some Highlander. There's a full suite of 32 new players, old players, multiple different teams represented. There's some interstaters as well. Uh, Really exciting stuff.
Yeah, I wish I could have made it down from Canberra, but sadly I had family commitments.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're in the end stages of coronavirus with regards to Australia, but it's still present and it's still
Better
something to
to not
consider.
travel a lot of the time.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, we've got some interstate representation through the commentary. You've got yourself. We'll be joined later by Vance. We'll be joined later by Tyrone from Queensland as well.
That's exciting.
So an all-star lineup on the commentary. Really exciting.
Hopefully there'll be some really good games as well.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the players' meeting at the moment. Head judge addressing the players and letting them know the details of the day, how many rounds. So there'll be 5 rounds, then a top 8. First is a volcanic island. Yesterday there was some pretty sweet prizes down to 4th, I think, actually. So I think there was some time spiral boosters and a force of negation or something like that. Pretty cool stuff.
Nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. Dylan, if you were playing today, what deck would you be playing?
I would definitely be playing Red Black Aggro. It's my pet deck. I've been playing it for many years now.
It's always a good one.
And it's always a good one. It's never really bad.
That's exactly right. It's there to run checks and balances on the format. You know, if people have been skimping out, cutting lands and that sort of thing to try and gain edges elsewhere, if you stumble, Red Black Aggro will capitalize on it. If I was playing,
the deck is just super consistent.
that's exactly it. It does the same thing every game, and if you're not prepared for it, it's going to punish you. You're going to lose. I would be playing my big Jeskai deck if I was here. I would love to mana vault and balance some people. But alas, I'm locked in the coverage room, never to escape.
I've been toying with a very similar list actually.
Okay.
Jeskai Moon, just splashing the red for like moons.
Yeah, the red's definitely a light splash. I mean, Chandra Awakened Inferno is double red, but it's worth it in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Especially when you got like all the mana rocks.
That's right. This is day 2 of our 3-day Eternal Extravaganza here at Tabernacle Games in Melbourne. Yesterday was Legacy, got taken down by Brennan Crawford, a local player on Hogak, as I'm getting a phone call. Ew. Local player playing Hogak won yesterday. Brennan is enrolled in today's event, and I don't believe that he is playing Hogak.
Would be a bold choice.
Still waiting on pairings, unfortunately. Ooh,
There we go.
that sounds like a head judge yelling out in the background. That's great. That's what we want to hear.
They're checking pre-registered players against the registered players.
I see. The new Wizards of the Coast registration system giving the tournament organisers some hassle. So, got to run some checks and make sure that everyone's enrolled, make sure that the right people who paid for the event are the ones that are enrolled in the event, and all that sort of thing. So, it's very possible that I might actually take a quick break here and make sure that everything's going smoothly, get our feature match organised, and be back in a few minutes. Does that sound alright to you, Dylan?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Awesome. Well, I'll be back really shortly to cover some IRL paper Highlander. Exciting stuff. See you soon. Alright, we're back. We made it, despite the best efforts of the internet. We have returned, and we're about to head down to the table real soon, I think. Players are scrambling around in their seats for round 1 at the moment. Dylan, how you going?
Good. Well, how are you? Yeah.
Nothing changed in the last 15 minutes while we were gone?
I refilled my glass of cordial.
Hey, that's important. You got to stay hydrated.
Yeah, exactly. Stay hydrated.
Cordial, of course, not the greatest for hydration, but, it is what it is.
It's better than soft drink, which is what I've moved on from.
Oh, yeah, very true. Very true. I'm still on this sort of half water, half energy drinks thing. It's difficult.
Yeah.
You're getting called out in chat. Cordial, huh?
I'm getting called out for cordial. It's diet cordial, right?
Diet cordial.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. We've got a cool feature match for round 1, actually. We've got Mimi Arthur against Ross Bariamis. Mimi, we're about to head down to the table here, actually.
That looks like a lutri.
Yeah, Lutri presented on Ross's side. Mimi has been playing Highlander for many, many, many years. Mimi was playing when I learned how to play Highlander way back in like 2012 or something like that.
Yeah.
Ross, comparatively reasonably new to the format. Started playing, I want to say 2019, possibly 2018. Well, I have deck lists for the gameplay. I'll have deck lists for some of them. If they message them to me personally, I will. But not everybody did. If it was submitted digitally, I'm getting them from the TO. If they're paper, nobody wants paper Highlander deck lists.
Oh god, yeah. Remember one of my first gigs judging was a Highlander event.
Yeah.
With deck lists, they're not fun to check.
Yeah, I mean, you get it a little bit in some other formats as well. There was a string of like 4 or 5 modern events where I did deck checks with a specific judge, and I always got Birthing Pod, and they always got Affinity. It's
at
not...
least we don't have to worry about commander deck lists.
But commander deck lists, they don't exist. They're not a thing.
Canadian Highlander deck lists.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So we've got Ross, I think, winning the Darrell. I don't know. We've got odds evens. I reckon Mimi's probably on her 4-color deck that she played last event I saw her on. But...
Yeah, she was playing 4-color control over Moxing Day. Yeah. Came, I want to say, second in that event?
I think so. I remember she did quite well. I think she lost to Mulch in the finals.
Yeah, Mulch took that one down, and Isaac won the Legacy.
Yeah. So... what kind of lutri deck do you think this is? I see a Jace the Mind Sculptor, I believe, in Ross's hand.
Look, unfortunately, I'm very close friends with a lot of the players, so I get a lot of back-end information about what people are playing. Kind of ruins the surprise for me a little bit. I know that Ross has historically played a lot of Grixis, dabbled in Oracle a little bit, and has considered recently moving to the dark side and playing some Blue Moon.
Ooh, okay.
So
all right, I'll be the surprise factor for you in this one. So Wooded Foothills into, let's say, Volcanic.
And I love Mimi's playmat here. The original 151. Oh, we have a Gataxian Probe helpful here to just reveal all the information. What's in
Jace,
Ross's hand?
Preordain, Narset, Scred, and Force of Negation. Yep, this is definitely looking like Blue Moon.
Yeah, Scred's sort of the real giveaway in the hand there.
Yeah, because you're going to have to want a high density of basics.
Versus a 3-color deck where you're only going to have like, 4 basics maybe.
Yeah. So it's choosing to suspend the visions on turn 1 is probably the correct play with that hand. Be interesting to see if this Preordain works out for him.
Well, that's one of the things, right? In a format like Highlander, you've got a vague idea of what your opponents are playing when you sit down. You don't have perfect knowledge, but, if you sit down opposite Mimi, there's pretty good odds that she's going to be on a slower deck, a deck where you're not going to get punished for taking turn 1 off,
Yeah. I like to occasionally mix things up and trade decks with people at the last minute.
Ooh. Ooh, and an Inquisition. So maybe this Preordain is
Ooh.
not gonna be
I
good.
think Mimi senses blood here.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
No,
goes for the
taking
Narset.
Okay. Just assuming that the game's going to go long enough for that Narset to be more important than preordaining for the second land.
That's probably a better play, to be honest, depending on the context of Mimi's hand, but I would make the greedy play
I
9
think
times out of 10.
if you could look at the top card of... Oh, never mind.
That
Wow.
explains a lot.
Yeah. If you could look at the top card of your opponent's deck and know that before the Inquisition,
Yeah.
you know, that gives you the great information, but maybe just had it all there. The mental misstep as well.
Yeah, that's it's going to be back-breaking, especially seeing as Ross has missed his second land.
Preordain for Mimi. No, you can't have yours, but I'll have mine, thanks. And we see a Taiga in hand to go with the Watery Grave in play, so definitely 4 colors of magic.
Yeah.
I'm going to pencil it in as 4-color control, and maybe I'll eat my words and have to, change the name of the deck at some point. But for now, that's what I'm going to put in here.
Could be a 4-color mid-range deck.
It very much could be. I know at Boxing Day it was Mimi against Nile, and they were both on the same 4-color combination, but it was a very different set of cards.
So Ross has missed his land drop again. Luckily, he's got this Force of Negation to sort of slow the game down to get this Ancestral Visions off.
Yeah.
In case Mimi tries to play like a Narset here or something.
Well, the downside is the Force of Negation can't be used to push through the Ancestral Vision. You can't freecast it in your upkeep. Say that Mimi has a counterspell for the Vision, you can't counter back.
That is very true. I think Ross is hoping to have drawn out of it by then, or drawn some reaction.
Yeah, you kind of hope so. If you're suspending it on turn 1, you're resolving it on, what is that, turn 4, turn 5?
Yeah, well, here comes the Force of Negation.
Yeah, Oko, well and truly powerful enough to eat a Force of Negation. Removing Jace, that's, it really says a lot about the power of Oko, that, Jace
one
is
point for 2 points.
That's exactly right. Jace is old school, Oko is new school. And still no second land
still
for
no
Ross.
land. I see a Snapcaster in Mimi's hand. Maybe she's gonna Inquisition back. Make sure the way is clear to counter Ancestral Visions if she has the cards.
Yeah, I'm not certain if she's holding a counterspell right now, actually. Which Triome is that? That's Life's Greatest Mysteries.
Rug, I would assume? Rug or Sultai?
Putting you on the spot, and let's see if I can pull up the image.
I'm gonna lock in Sultai.
You're gonna lock in Sultai? Alright, well let's update my overlay so that it actually gets the right card. There we go, cool. Bam, you were incorrect.
Rug Triumph, okay.
Yeah, your first
that
instinct
tells
was
me Mimi's-
correct.
Yeah, that tells me Mimi's deck is a lot more reliant on red. Or she has the Sultai Triumph in hand, I imagine.
Sure.
Because a lot of the time these 4-color decks are more Sultai based, or at least in my experience with it. Choosing to shuffle with Ponder, likely going for a counterspell, I reckon.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, whenever I stream, my alert box does something different, and I don't know why. Today it's decided to make noises. Yesterday it didn't.
It's a surprising stream.
Nobody knows.
All the best streams are full of suspense.
That's exactly right. I mean, we had a false start yesterday. We had a false start today. When you're doing it live, sometimes these things happen.
And Ancestral Visions for Mimi are not quite as timely, but...
And no 4th land for Mimi.
Yep.
And
the Visions, will it be enough to get Ross back into this game?
So 1 for the draw step as well.
Yep, nearly forgot his draw step.
And I think I see a mental misstep, a mana leak, just sort of a few reactive cards to maybe slow the game down and keep things where they are.
Yep, that misstep would have been good a few turns ago.
That's very true, yeah. Either to hit the Inquisition or the misstep. And you can't use it to hit the Ancestral Vision. That's not how the card works, sadly. It costs 1, but you got to pay that 1 ahead of time.
You can use it to hit a recall though, which is pretty good.
Very true. Ancestral Recall, 5 points.
Mental misstep 0. How does that fare?
That was, there's only been 1 points update since our last major Highlander event here in Melbourne, but it was a big one, putting Ancestral and Time Walk both up to 5 points. We see a Snapcaster mage.
Snapcaster?
Yeah.
Yep.
Never feels
Another
bad.
point?
Snapcaster's just such a good value card. I believe the most played 1 point card in Highlander at our last junction.
Okay. So, it's a lot of blue decks out there.
Very true. I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to be a blue deck to play it, you know? You can play it in blue-white, you can play it in blue-red, you can play it in Abzan splashing blue. It just fits everywhere. And Dak Faden. That's a cool guy. Greatest thief in the multiverse.
Yep.
Maybe hoping to...
looks like Ross has found his 4th land.
Yeah, I mean, if Ross can keep... It's really typical that when one player gets screwed on mana, if they draw out of it, they're going to have an advantage. Because they've had to play conservatively and keep all of their resources tight to their chest. Versus if you flood, you know...
Or they just haven't been able to play them.
Is that Iron Eyes or is it Charm?
Yeah, traditionally Screw beats Flood. I think that's an Is It Charm, and a miscalculation.
I definitely believe that's a miscalc. And here we see Jace Vryn's Prodigy. There was a Scred in Ross's hand at the start of the game. Only one snow-covered permanent.
Snow-covered permanent. If he gets that, then that's a easy answer for Jace. Dak should be able to draw him into another one.
That's exactly it. Dak's seen an additional 4 cards here now, so... and the fact that it's not just basics, it's any basic and any fetch should be able to find a snow-covered land. Or even Astrolabe itself. Ooh, discarding a snow-covered island.
Pitching.
Ooh.
Oh, he's got another one.
Alright, fair enough.
Just to confuse us.
And I think that's a Behold the Multiverse that was discarded to Dak Faden as well. And of course the Scred comes down, eats the chase.
Yeah, I think Behold the Multiverse is kind of like a neat little addition to Blue Moon.
I'm not going to lie, I've been
Just
playing it everywhere and it's so good.
Yeah. It seems like a new hieroglyphic illumination almost.
Absolutely, yeah. The ability to, keep it in a 2-lander. What is that one? Is that Spell Pierce?
Spell Piercing the Narset?
Yeah. Very key counterspell there. Especially having this Dak Faden in play. If that card filtering gets turned off, it's not going to be a good position for Ross.
Yeah, it'd be terrible. Ross is wishing his own Narset didn't get taken, so...
Very true.
Be attacking Mimi's hand.
Especially with that Ancestral Vision on 1, ready to go. Ready to refill the hand.
It's been a game of trading resources 1-for-1 so far, with the exception of the Force.
And Ross is on the same amount of lands in play as Mimi now. Discarding Scalding Tarn Mystic Confluence, so discarding the 5th land, choosing not to play one, and of course discarding the 5-drop.
He's got a Cryptic in his hand.
Hmm.
What's his answer to this Visions?
Alright, I don't know that one.
Swan Song? No, it's 2 mana.
Ooh,
It's Dig Through Time.
Is that... Okay, so that's got to be some sort of secret lair. Is it like the Dog Through Time, or is it...
Something like that. There's too many for me to keep up with these days.
Let's see if I can pull up the Dog Through Time art. Well, it doesn't look like Dog Through Time.
Oh, Logic Knot.
Logic Knot, okay. Sure. That's a blast from the past. I haven't seen a Logic Knot in play or on the stack for quite some time.
Oh, didn't Time Spiral give it a new art or something?
It did. That's exactly the one that Ross is playing.
Yeah. Just to confuse us.
The hardest part of coverage, just knowing what cards do.
Oh, there's too many to keep up with these days. Every...
Actually, I had someone call me over this morning, as Ross resolves another Dak tick up here. I had someone call me over and say, Judge, I'm writing my deck list. I don't know what this card is.
Right?
A very experienced player, not someone who's brand new to the format borrowing a deck. But quite the opposite, someone who only owns Japanese foils and just didn't know the name of the card.
Discarding a Blood Moon here, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, against the 4-color deck. Very bold. Direfleet Daredevil. In the main deck, just sort of a call out to the Melbourne metagame of just slow, dirtily blue decks. Looks like it could be targeting Inquisition of Kozilek.
Inquisition? Mimi has a Fatal Push, Toxic Deluge, and Liliana of the Last Hope, I want to say.
I think I agree.
So Mimi's missing double black.
Ooh, you're right.
Oh, she found her next black source.
Wow, I should get you to commentate my games. Just to, call out whatever it is that I'm missing. I just want to confirm the Liliana. Was that the Liliana we saw? I think it was.
Yeah, it's the Mythic Edition.
Dak Faden could go for an emblem here.
Yeah, in my experience, the emblem of Dak Faden is not usually that good in Blue Moon. Unless you're playing cards like Electrolyze or Bolts against high toughness creatures.
Yeah, it's getting better with... There's a lot of cards these days that are, target permanent and opponent controls. Or target creature and opponent controls. Assassin's Trophy was really the first of those, but it's kind of the norm now.
The problem with a lot of those is when you steal the permanent, then it dies.
Yeah, with the sort of, Swords to Plowshares and Lightning Bolt and that sort of thing, absolutely. But there's new ones like Assassin's Trophy. If you cast Assassin's Trophy, target your opponent's thing, gain control of it, now it's no longer a legal target and your trophy's gone.
Ah, that's a good point. They've made a lot of cards recently like that, which
Ooh,
I like to call it idiot proofing, but
very fair. Leovold eating a Cryptic Command here. Cryptic Command, what year is it? That is a big, expensive, powerful card. And that looks like that might be a Sweltering Suns in hand there for Ross as well.
I think Ross forgot to Cryptic the previous turn. I think he's just he feels comfortable enough in his position.
Ooh, Snapcaster. Behold. Oh, boy.
This is peak magic.
Yeah.
Ooh, choosing to keep both. I think I saw a Force of Will there.
And one thing of note here, it's a little bit out of frame, but there is still a Lutri sitting in the command zone for
I'd almost
Ross. This is exactly the point of the game where it starts to be very relevant. There's 3 men.
Yep.
It's as though he can hear me. Let me just make sure that I am muted. Yep, good, alright.
Be a bit awkward otherwise. And Mimi packs it up. I think she's seen enough, and Ross has got just a bit too many resources on him.
That's right. Like clockwork, I have deck lists. Huzzah! So let's have a look at sideboarding here. Let me read out Ross's sideboard here in the Blue Moon deck as I bring it back into the booth. Ross's sideboard, we are looking at 1 Ether Gust, 1 Anger of the Gods, 1 Ashiok Dream Render, 1 Earthquake, wow.
Earthquake.
I'm not even going to say 1, I'm going to drop that from my vocabulary. Energy Flux, Expansion Explosion, Fiery Confluence, Hydroblast, Lutri of course, Niv-Mizzet Perun, Pyroblast, Red Blast, Relica Progenitus, Submerge, and Thing in the Ice. I like Niv-Mizzet Perun.
Niv-Mizzet Perun is definitely a spicy one.
Yeah, considering, Mimi is on this sort of slower strategy. 6 lands, not unheard of when it comes to these control matchups like this. You don't want to be caught dead with a 6-drop in your deck against red-black aggro, for example. But against Mimi, you're more than happy to have this haymaker.
Try and go, just a bit over the top.
So
definitely seeing these blasts coming in.
Oh yeah, at least the red ones. The blue one's a little bit tougher. How do you feel about Ashiok Dream Render?
In this matchup, I think it's an interesting card.
Mm-hmm.
I depends how reliant Mimi is on her graveyard. So a lot of Highlander decks do tend to use their graveyard as a resource.
Yep.
And Ashiok shuts that off. But as well as shutting off fetch lands, it's kind of this
Oh yeah.
card which is a nail in the coffin sort of thing. It's like when you're ahead and you play it, it stops your opponent utilizing certain resources.
Absolutely.
But if you're
right,
behind, she's not, like, Ashiok's not necessarily the best.
Well, let's have a look at Mimi's sideboard here as well. We have Duress, Disfigure, Veil of Summer, 4 Blasts, Pyro Red, Hydro and Blue, Nihil Spellbomb, Grafdigger's Cage, Liliana's Triumph, Sylvan Library, Ancient Grudge, Opposition Agent, Radiant Flames, and Submerge.
So I reckon we'll see starting with the 4 Blasts.
Definitely 4 Blasts. Against a 2-color deck, you really can't go wrong with them.
Yeah. Sylvan Library is something else I imagine coming in. Blue Moon doesn't have particularly fast clock.
Yep.
The problem, well, I say that. Blue Moon doesn't clock you in the early stages of the game. The problem is more that when it gets to the later stages of the game, the Blue Moon clock can be quite scary.
Yeah, definitely. Comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. I've seen Blue Moon lists playing Risk Factor and they just get you.
Ooh, that's cute. Okay. Opposition Agent is one that I would be considering. There's not too much in the way of specifically searching in the Blue Moon deck. You know, you've got your everyday fetch lands, but just another flash threat to sort of break the turn parity in these control mirrors. Super crucial.
Yeah, I think the effect of Opposition Agent isn't particularly strong in this matchup, but if Mimi really does value a 3-power, 3-mana flash threat, then we can definitely see Opposition Agent coming in.
Alright, well, looks like they're done with their sideboarding. They're shuffling up, so we're going to head back down to the table now.
Alright. So, still shuffling up. Mimi's obviously going to be on the play. I've yet to see Manaless Dredge and Highlander.
Look, if there's someone that could pull it off, I would be looking at Jared Goodwin, who is not in the room today.
Have to send him a tweet.
That's right. Fellow streamer, although he hasn't streamed much of late. But I digress. Big all-star field today, really. Multiple interstators. People with decks named after them, whether they're red decks or storm decks. Just a laundry list of the best players in the format, I think. In Australia, at least, in Melbourne. You know, there's definitely...
I'm not there.
There's definitely interstators who, you know, if you're going to have all the best players in the format, you've got to have your Lachlan Ward-Smiths, your Dylan Kakawas,
Justin Chung.
Oh, Justin! Wow, he just can't be stopped. But as it goes for Melbourne players, there's not many people missing here. Paul Mitchell would be one from Melbourne who is missing. Double Masters champion. Speaking of All-Star, Mimi's playmat is top tier from the chat. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What's your favorite Gen 1 Pokemon?
My favorite Gen 1 Pokemon? I have a really soft spot for Golem, as it was my first Pokemon I got to level 100.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Why, was that yours as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
Buddy's right here.
You shocked me. Wow.
Golem sadly is not my favorite overall Pokemon, but
that's fair.
Definitely
that's fair. I actually, you know, I never got a Golem to level 100 because I didn't have friends. I had a Graveler.
Oh, you had a Graveler level 100.
Yeah. Looks like Ross on a mulligan. Mimi keeping a 7.
Yep. Looks to be the way. Thank God for the London Mulligan, smoothing everyone's draws out.
Yeah, new mulligans so much better than old mulligans.
Especially for formats like Standard and Limited, where just mulliganing could be so backbreaking.
Absolutely, yeah. When you don't have cards like, you know, Ponder Preordained to fix your mulligans, you know, if you can keep 6 cards and one of them is a Ponder, that's so much stronger than 6 cards.
Yeah.
And the London Mulligan sort of functions as a Ponder in that regard for these formats that don't have that, you know?
Turn 1 visions from Mimi. This is becoming a recurring theme this match, I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, when the game is going long, visions is one of the best places you can be, especially on turn 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be trying it on turn 7, because it's going to do nothing, but turn 1 vision, obviously the best, and this is the best matchup for it.
Yep. Any sort of slow, grindy game. Let's,
Brainstorm, that one?
No, Brainstorm.
From the...
Spellbook cards also look... confuse me.
Yeah, the Spellbook collection. That has my favourite negate, actually. I really like the negate in that set. Just
That's
looking
fair
to
enough.
improve the card quality, maybe a land too many in hand. I think I see a Pyroblast in hand.
I think so. It looks like a Pyroblast and a Ponder.
And what else can I see there? Is that a Hex Drinker? I really hope it is, because that's a turn I was not expecting this game to take.
Looks like she's put the Ponder back on top. That looks like a counterspell.
Alright, what I thought was a Hex Drinker was a Misty Rainforest. They're basically the same thing. They, you know, they're both...
You could both play them on turn 1.
Yeah, they're both cards that have activated abilities.
They're both permanents.
Yep, see? Easy
So many
mistake
things
to
in
make.
common.
Easy mistake to make.
So no end of turn here. Play here.
Just a
but-
Steam Vents. That perfect mana. Didn't need Triomes for Blue Moon to be able to fetch out the ideal jewels.
Nah, Triumphs are overrated.
Triomes are so silly. So powerful. I love them to bits.
Ooh, Search for Canter. That's a good card in this matchup.
Yeah, real good in this matchup. It's another one of those cards where, you know, if the game is... Oh, that's the wrong transition. If the game is slow, Search for Canter, you know, it's just going to get so much value over time. Both in the front half, just smoothing out your draws, and in the back half, getting you just raw card advantage.
So I think I spied a Oko in Mimi's hand, so I think she's gonna blast this. Nah, she's gonna let the search stay, and then
Okay.
I reckon deploy an Oko.
Okay, sure. I mean, look, Oko on a empty board, or close enough to empty board, is a paddling. There's a reason
is that a force I see?
There's a reason that Oko's 2 points, and it's not because 2 is a nice even number.
I think I see a force.
If you're rooting for Ross here, you're hoping for force, or days at least, just some sort of interaction here. That Triumph in play is the bug one, I can tell you that. Zagoth.
Yeah, that one's the bug one. It's not got the alt art.
Oko getting forced again. Different force this time. Instead of force pitching a point, it's force as a point pitching Brainstorm.
Card some argue should be a point, but I don't agree.
Upkeep, Search for Canter trigger. Ross just deciding whether to keep that in on the top of the library or put it in the graveyard.
So I think Ross has a Ponder, Behold the Multiverse, and Volcanic Island in hand.
I'm just so happy that Behold the Multiverse is seeing play.
It's a good card.
Dak Faden going to the graveyard. Now's not the time for it.
Mental Misstep picked up by the looks of it.
And that must be the Ponder then.
Yep, looks that way. Is that a Magmatic Channeler? I'm only getting glimpses of these cards, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to check out the deck list here. I don't believe there's a Magmatic Channeler, but...
might be a Red Blast.
Okay. That would make more sense to me. Let's
Yeah.
have a look here. Definitely no Magmatic Channeler.
Oh, it's definitely not a Magmatic Channeler.
Could be a Magus of the Moon, actually. There's a new artwork for that as well.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And that would be quite powerful if it is that.
So, choosing not to shuffle likes these cards as they are.
Volcanic Island. And are we going to see a Foretold? No. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, the Foretell ability on Behold the Multiverse, you know, it fits in really nice on turns like this, where, you know, you can split up your 4-mana spell and play half of it on turn 3. That's so good.
I think Ross kind of has to represent counter magic at all times, though, because Mimi's deck is just scary when it lands a threat.
Yeah, and we see there Ross milled the island to the Search for Canter and drew, and didn't play a land.
I think he's banking on this search, so Mental Misstep on the blast. Veil of Summer comes down.
Oh, we got an old-fashioned stack here. And Search for Scanter is out of here. Did Mimi draw from that Veil of
Mimi
Summer?
did draw from Veil of
Okay,
Summer,
awesome.
and Ancestral's getting blast. Counterspell out of Mimi.
Oh, wow. It's just pow, 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 pow. All action all the
Spell
time.
snare the counterspell.
Oh. Alright, so both players, you know, started that turn sequence with like 6 cards, and now they've both got like 2.
Yep.
We can see
And
here
nothing-
why
Nothing's
Ross went
happening
in.
anymore.
Now we'll take another 4 turns off as both players rebuild their resources, and then we'll do that again really soon.
I wonder if Mimi's thinking right now, maybe she should have saved the Veil of Summer to force through the visions. But I guess she's really rated that search really highly.
Both players here paying a lot of respect to their opponent's card advantage. You know, Mimi forcing through the destruction of the search, and Ross forcing through the counter spells on the ancestral.
So Mimi's got a basic swamp in her hand now in play. So basic island, less afraid of the moons now, but
Yeah, look, you're losing access to green if a moon was to come down this turn. We just see Lutri
Lutri.
added. Ooh.
dig through time.
That one is definitely the dog through time
That's
artwork.
the dig through time.
I know that Mimi's a big fan of the secret lairs. There's at least a couple of different secret lair artworks in Mimi's deck. She was showing off one of the what is it, the metal secret lair drop.
Ah, yes. Probably Assassin's Trophy.
I think that might have been the one.
Yeah.
And of course the dog through time as well. 2 points here.
So Ross choosing to put Lutri in hand over foretelling Behold the Multiverse. Do you make anything interesting of that?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? You just want to be foretelling Behold the Multiverse?
I just want to foretell it, you know, get that half mana spent. It's such an incredible piece of card advantage, you know?
Speaking of card advantage, him to Torak coming down.
Gross. How many cards did Ross have? 4.
4, so losing Lutri and a Pyroblast.
Okay.
Which means he's still got the Behold the Multiverse.
Yeah. And Mimi's got a lot of lands in play here. That's definitely the story of this game. But the difference between this game and last game is that Ross doesn't have a full group of 7 this time.
Is this a true name off the top for Ross?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, he's going to walk into Snapcaster Counterspell. But he may not have a choice.
Yeah, Snapcaster, you know, Pyroblast, any of those sort of things. As well as Mimi's probably got a couple of outs to the card itself.
Yeah.
So both players, you know, similar count of cards in hand. But the mana in play is just the huge difference here. And this Logic Knot, this is really where the land advantage is going to come in for it. Because Mimi's got 5 untapped lands. This Logic Knot's going to have to be for 6. That's a big delve. That costs you if you draw Dig Through Time, if you draw Magmatic Sinkhole, if you draw... I was going to say Search for a Scanner, but you're probably not drawing that.
A few different problems are involved.
And Snapcaster coming down in response to the Logic Knot. And you know what? We might be...
Veil of Summer.
Ooh, that's so huge.
It's much better. It counters and draws.
Yeah. And... There appears to be a question here about the Veil. No? Yeah? Alright, cool. And we might be going to a game 3 here.
Thoughtseize.
I'm glad you got that one.
Yep. The Iconic Masters.
I think that was a box topper for that set, right?
Yep. What is Ross doing? So Sinkhole and True Name.
Yeah, there's no world where you're taking this Sinkhole. You know, if your Snapcaster eats a Sinkhole, like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, sure, it can preclude Mimi from playing, like, a Tassiger or something like that. Like Gurmag Angler. Big silly vanilla creature.
So it looks like there was no Behold the Multiverse.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just wrong. And or blind. Maybe it was discarded.
Maybe it was the Logic Knot we looked at.
Yeah, okay. that probably explains why it was never foretold.
Is this search for his counter supposed to be flipping here?
I count six
Six.
in the graveyard. Let's find out. You commentate, and I'll run out there.
Yeah. So Mimi's going for an attack with the Snapcaster Mage. Ross is on the back foot with very little to be doing. Jimbo's just checking in, making sure the search.
Turns out we just can't count. That is 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we're just both blind.
We both made the same mistake, though, so...
Weird that it happened twice. So
Yeah.
Narset coming out from the canter. Yep, and
Ross has decided that's enough.
yeah. That Narset is probably lights out in that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll jump back into the booth here for a second, and see if there's any changes to be made after sideboarding again, you know? Now that both players have seen a little bit more out of the opponent's deck.
I don't think too much changes with sideboarding. I feel like a lot of these games are going to come down to an early trade of cheap, efficient resources until one person jams the card advantage engine and just starts snowballing the game.
I think that's exactly it. That game there is very representative of how this is going to go. You know, you're going to have these counterspell wars on the stack, 1 mana counter, 1 mana counter, 1 mana counter, and then something's going to resolve. Whether it's Azcanta, whether it's Ancestral Vision, Narset, and hope that that's good enough.
Mimi having access to Veil of Summer is absolutely huge in this matchup.
Yeah, Veil just does that sort of dismiss, you know, counterspell and draw a card. You know,
Doesn't counter the red spells, I believe.
True.
Or is it spells you can't be countered?
Can't be countered by blue or black.
Yeah.
I believe, anyway. It's a very strangely worded card. It does a lot of things you wouldn't expect and doesn't do some other things. It's just very specific in how it works.
You've got Mimi's list accessible.
I do.
Questing Beast?
Questing Beast. Let's have a look. I mean, let's have a look through the main deck here. We've got a pile of lands, of course. Creature package of Snapcaster, Deathrite, Baleful Strix, JVP, Leovold, Tasiga, Hullbreacher, Uro. No Questing Beast.
No Questing Beast. Is she playing Stomp?
No. That's the... no Adventure Creatures. No, Yeah, okay.
Both of these cards are very good against True Name Nemesis.
Very good against True Name Nemesis. On the other hand, on the other side, what does Mimi have as an out, actually? We have, let's have a look here, Toxic Deluge.
Yep.
We have a bunch of counterspells, and the sideboard Liliana's Triumph. So it's possible...
maybe she's brought that in.
Yeah, possible she's gone back to the sideboard and after seeing the True Name. On the other side, what can I see that's out of place here or cool on the Blue Moon side? There's a main deck Abrade. The pair of adventure creatures, Bonecrusher Giant and Brazen Borrower. Main deck
good.
Direfleet Daredevil. And then just some stock standard stuff. And a main deck Sweltering Suns as a sweeper that you can just cash in for another card if you decide to at some point.
Yeah. I was playing a match against Team Deck. And I Robber of the Rich and flipped a Questing Beast. Then my opponent played a True Name Nemesis. And Questing Beast is very good against True Name Nemesis.
Very good against True Name Nemesis. Yeah. Questing Beast, like, I'd forgotten about that ability. You know, that's what Questing Beast does.
Questing Beast has the secret line of text, which reads, every time you read this card, it gains a new ability.
That is scarily accurate.
So Ross going down to Mulligan 6.
I think I saw an Ancestral Vision in Mimi's hand.
Ancestral Vision and a snow-covered island.
Can't draw that up better. So, what are the outs for Mimi against a fast Blood Moon? You've got the Blasts, and... I guess...
Because she's got this basic island, she can just blast the Blood Moon even if it resolves.
There's also, I guess, Decay and possibly Trophy. But those are, a lot more restrictive
Yeah.
on your mana, especially if you are leading on basic island as well.
Yeah, you gotta like put them down at the right time. It's not gonna come down on curve.
And maybe leaning on these snow-covered lands as well, with 0 snow interactions in the deck.
No Astrolabe.
No Astrolabe, no Icefang Coatl, on thin ice, none of that sort of thing.
I mean, at worst, you can represent that kind of effect.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's no cost in it, and that's part of the issue, I guess, if you do have an issue with snowlands.
I've got a whole spiel about this, which I'm not going to go into.
Alright, we'll check you out on Twitter and see the entire rage fest later, hey?
Just tag me in the Highlander Discord and I'll go off. And here's the Blood Moon.
Yeah, speak of the devil. This is the earliest it could come down. Turn 3, 2 islands in play for Ross. Mimi, is that a legal fetch?
I thought that was a Wooded Foothills, but it could be a Bloodstained Mire.
You know what? You talk and I'll run out there.
Alright, I'm gonna guess it's a Bloodstained Mire, and Jimbo's gonna just slightly embarrass himself once again. Mimi's a good player. She's generally not gonna make mistakes like that. Alright, so if this Blood Moon does resolve, this could be very dangerous for Mimi. But, given if she has 2 basics, she might be able to get away with quite a few things.
That is definitely a Expedition Bloodstained Mire.
Yeah. I was just saying it was probably that. It would be very amusing. Alright,
well, I mean, I don't recognize any artworks on these cards. There's the Bloodstained Mire in play there on the screen. And so it looks like Mimi's, just gonna play through this Blood Moon with not a fear in the world. The Ancestral Vision looking to tick down. That one there is a Wooded Foothills.
Yeah, alright, I'm back. Some technical difficulties there.
And there's the Behold the Multiverse. Alright. My favourite. It was just foretold and then cast on the following turn, so no real, breaking up the cost of value.
Means you can leave open interaction if you need to, though.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So, search for his counter.
Very powerful card advantage engine.
Yep. Not so much card advantage as card filtering when there's a Blood Moon in play, but...
True. Very true. I mean, I guess in that case, maybe you just leave it on the front half, right?
Yeah, until this Blood Moon gets resolved.
Ancestral Vision being cast, is that a...
Mana Drain.
Mana Drain, okay. I was thinking Spell Pierce, and that's a Force of Will.
Met with another Force of Will.
So Force Pitching Snapcaster, Force Pitching...
Is it Charm?
Is it Charm? Okay, alright.
So this Mana Drain's gonna resolve and...
Flurry of points
get
there.
Zero mana for his Mana Drain.
Mana Drain a point, Force of Will a point, Force of Will exiling Snapcaster is another point, Force of Will's a point. And Azcanta gonna bin that Mana Leak.
Not very useful when Mimi has a bunch of mountains which she has nothing to do with.
Yeah, I mean, there is, I guess 5 lands in play, so Mana Leak can't hit anything that costs 3 or more. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit rough. And now we'll see whether Ross does decide to just leave this Azcanta front side.
Maybe he wants a second mountain.
Okay, so flip the card, gestured to the search for Azcanta, said, I'll keep that one, thanks. And bin to the snow-covered island.
Yep, so he's got a preordained Lutri play here.
Sure, okay.
Looks like Mimi's got nothing but land in hand, so I think Ross might just run away with this game at this rate.
So preordained Lutri is better than Behold the Multiverse. I will give you that. As much as I'm a fan of Scry 2, Draw 2, Scry 2, Draw 1, Scry 2, Draw 1, get a 3-2, pretty good.
My favourite is Lutri Price of Progress.
I mean, you are filthy, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, you could go Lutri Balance, but that doesn't really do much.
It really doesn't.
Lose your Lutri.
I have Snapcasted Balance. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
My opponent played a Tasiga, and then played in Flashback Lingering Soul, so I was like, this is too good. Snapcasted Balance, my opponent keeps his Tasiga. I'm like, oh, what?
Alright, Lutri eating the bolt off the mountain.
Yeah, Ross holding a Red Blast in hand, thinking, dang, this doesn't do that. And that looks like a stomp, right?
Bone Crusher Giant.
Just
choosing to cast the front half. Don't need to go to value if you can just end the game.
Yeah, I mean, a 4/3 will end the game, what, 5 attacks?
Yep.
It's resilient to removal as well.
I think Ross is just trying to put lights out at the moment. He's got card filtering, he's got...
That's exactly right. The early lead...
He's the Mind Sculptor now.
It's the early lead, and he wants to press this lead and make sure that Mimi doesn't have the ability to draw out of it.
Alright, I'm really hoping he Fate Seals here.
Yeah, I mean, my first instinct is Mimi's got a pile of fetch lands, but that doesn't work here.
Yep.
I'm
so happy.
Yep, straight
I see so many people play Chase the Mind Sculptor and not tick him up when they should be.
Especially against an opponent playing Lightning Bolt colors. Granted, Lightning Bolt's in the graveyard and Snapcaster's in exile, so it's unlikely to, that there's another Lightning Bolt in hand, but it does happen. You do get your Jace nugged from 3 to 0 quite often.
So Mimi's got a Veil of Summer in hand, but no green mana thanks to this Blood Moon. Alright, so now there's a Brainstorm.
Yeah, I mean, now that the Jace is off 3, you got to untap your lands with your Planeswalker in play. That's the key part. You know, the turn that the Jace came down, shields were down a bit. There was 4 lands tapped. 2 of them were islands, and you really just want to make sure that, what use is finding extra cards that turn if you can't play them.
So I think Ross has probably got this game locked up. It looks like he's got so much cards. The card selection between a Jace Brainstorm and a Search for his Cancer effectively lets you filter through cards even faster.
Very true. You're brainstorming, and you're putting 1 back on top and 1 in the graveyard. That's a lot of card advantage. Is this just an end of turn? That's probably a creature, I'm assuming.
Creature getting K commanded.
We were talking yesterday about how if you leave a single spot of glare on the screen, players know where it is. They just
looks like they found it.
So definitely a creature, a Colligan's Command, a main phase Force of Negation, and a Handshake. Wow.
Yep. Ross packs it up on the back of Blood Moon. Good to see these 4-color decks being punished.
Old Faithful, Blood Moon getting it done. Congrats to Ross winning round 1 for us. I might see
Good start to the tournament.
Yeah, I might see about dragging Ross in here for a interview to talk about how that game went. And Dylan, I think that's all we'll hear from you today.
No worries, thank you for having me.
I'd gladly have you back for a later round, but I had a bunch of people put up their hands for commentary. So,
no worries.
always lovely to have you. And people can find you on Twitter at, is it Arch Wanderer? Is that the one?
Arc Wanderer.
Arc Wanderer? I never know.
Yeah, it's alright. No, not cool. Don't just try and pronounce my surname.
I'll decline for right now.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you again for having me.
No worries. I'll catch you soon.
See you later.
And transitioned away. Alright, I'm joined here by Ross. How you doing? Hope you're well.
Good, Jim. Not bad.
Congratulations on the win in that there round.
Yeah, thanks for that. It was a pretty good little set of games. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, really good for the coverage. A lot of back and forth, flurries of counter spells. We had
classic blue stacks, yeah.
Red Blast your search, counter that, counter back, okay, upkeep my thing, counter that, counter back, counter back, counter back. Ooh.
It was very fun to play.
And then game 3 off, the card that defines your deck.
It absolutely does.
Playing Blue Moon or something similar to that, and just got there on turn 3 Moon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it worked out pretty swimmingly. So to be honest, I am new to playing Blue Moon. I've been a Kest Pile Grixis player for yonks.
Sure.
And I thought with the recent Kurgan League coming up, I changed it up recently.
Yep.
Play Moon. So I was a bit unsure of the sideboard strategy. So even though it was like a 4-color deck, I decided to do something a bit tricky and try to side out the moons in game 2.
Sure.
So all the moons back to basics.
Yep.
Magus and Thing are gone. And it worked out overall okay, but unfortunately, there was one back-breaking turn where I only resolved like Snapcaster and then managed to Thoughtseize away like a true name that I had or something like that.
Yep.
It was painful.
Yeah,
So then I went back into like the original Moons plan in game 3, which
and that's the thing with Moon, right? They have to play around it, which weakens their mana base.
exactly.
And then if they don't play around it, you can just get them. Like that's the power of a card like Moon, is that you're the one that opts in or opts out of playing it.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Especially with cards like Dak Fade, is a charm.
exactly. Yeah. So as I said, I thought I'd just try and make them scared of it for game 2, and then to just get in there back in there for game 3. So we'll see how it goes. But overall, I'm feeling pretty confident. Feels pretty good thus far. Against the 4-color deck especially, but
Very true.
we'll see how we go against the rest of it.
Well, you got 4 rounds left. You got to win at least 2 of them, probably 3 of them to make the top 8.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll see you in the top 8. Best of luck to you, mate.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jim.
If I can do this, hey.